Om Namah Shivaya. We're going to continue the teachings of Swami Sivananda on God. So now the next question that Swami Sivananda is answering is, where is God? Where is God? There is nowhere where He is not. So this is, here we can end. So where is God? God is in all names and forms. Nothing in this creation has independent existence from the reality. Just like the cup has no independent existence from the clay. It is nothing but clay. Then all names and forms abide in existence, in reality, and have no separate existence from reality. See, so if you're holding a cup made of clay, then what is it? Is it a cup? You see, the cup made of clay is nothing but clay. So if you hold the cup and you look at it, right, anywhere you put your finger on and you said, this is a cup, what did you land on? You landed on clay. You understand? So in the cup, there is nowhere where you can see a cup. There is only clay. Right? The substratum, the reality. In the same way, we say the mic is, right? The mic exists. You can see that it's pervaded by its isness, right? Like every other name and form in creation, including your thoughts, etc. Then the question is, can the mic, right, just like the cup and the clay, right? Let's say that we make a bargain, and the bargain is you get the cup, I get the clay. Will you go for it? Right? Special for Vedanta students that didn't understand the teaching. Right? So the idea is that can the mic, is there a mic without the isness of the mic? Can it be? Right? Just like, is there a cup without the clay? No, you remove the clay, there is no cup. Is there a mic without the isness, without the existence? If you remove the isness, is there a mic? Is there an is not mic? Right? So all names and forms within creation have no independent reality from reality. You understand? So the isness is like the universal clay of all names and forms in creation, including your thoughts, your emotions, your body, all beings, the sun, the ocean, everything. Everything abides in reality. That reality is God. You know it within you, right? Outside you know it as is. In you, you know it as I am, the self. So that self is the reality in all names and forms. Okay? There is one all-pervading reality. The only reason why we see the names and forms as separate and independent is because of the emotional attachments to the names and the forms, which we call raga and dvesha, attractions and aversions. Either you like that name and form in a special way, or you don't like that name and form in a special way. Both will make that name and form for you extra real. You understand? You will give all your attention to the name and the form, and you will lose sense of the underlying substratum. Okay? That's the idea. So think about it like this, right? What is a cloth? I have a cloth, right? So, but if you look at the cloth, what is a cloth? A cloth is nothing but threads, right? If you look at the cloth, right, you will see, after you forget that this is my cloth, right? My cloth makes the cloth very real, right? Or it's the cloth that someone gave me. You understand? All these emotional projections make the cloth, which is nothing but threads, very real. You understand? But actually the cloth is nothing but threads. Is there a cloth? Is there a cloth? No. The cloth is nothing but threads. Cloth is a name. That's all. It exists as a name. You understand? There isn't a cloth because it's nothing but threads. Where is the cloth? In the mind. Now, you see, who will have more difficulty to understand this? Let's say, a regular person or a fashion designer. You understand? A fashion designer that is used to give a reality to this cloth. This is all their career. You understand? You cannot tell them that this is not real. You understand? Why? Emotional attachments, that's all. Whatever we are emotionally attached to becomes the source of the world being real for us. And therefore, the source of upsetting our mind in the pairs of opposites. That's all. Okay, so that's how it goes. But if we are able to let go of our attractions and aversions to the names and forms of creation, we will be able to bring our mind to the one. Okay? In the Upanishads, this is called Adhyatma Yoga, which means take your mind away from the world, bring it to the self. Away from the world doesn't mean you become disconnect from the world, the opposite. It means you know the world as it is. Okay? This is the idea, which means you know the world in its substratum. That's the meaning. Okay, so this is what Swami Brahmananda says, means when he says there is nowhere where he is not. God is the reality of everything. And within us, it is the I am, the self. Then he says, God dwells in all beings as life and consciousness. Okay, so what is God? If you think about what is life, right? So, for example, there are thoughts. Thoughts are manifestations of life, right? But in order to think, someone needs to be there, right? I think, therefore, I am. There is an I am behind the thoughts. Someone is thinking those thoughts. Okay, you are breathing. I breathe, therefore I am. I see, therefore I am. I grow my hair, therefore I am. If you are alive, your hair grows. Okay, no life, hair doesn't grow. You understand? So the point is that if you trace life to its source, it is I am, the self. The self is the source of all life. This is the meaning. And it is of the nature of consciousness. Then he says, God is in the roar of a lion, the song of a bird, and the cry of a babe. Feel his presence everywhere. See God in the wings of a butterfly, in the letters Alpha and Omega, which are representation of knowledge, in the cough of a patient, because disease is part of the order, in the murmur of a brook, in the sound of a bell. Behold, this is very beautiful. Behold the wonder of the Lord's face in every object of this world. So Swami Brahmananda says, as a yogi, he says, develop this eyesight, so to say, to behold the wonder of the face of God in every object of the world. Okay? So, in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna describes himself, the Lord, as the all-faced, meaning everywhere you look, including the one who looks, including everything, is the face of God. Why aren't we able to recognize it as such? Only because of our ignorance and attractions and aversions. That's all. Okay? Otherwise, we could appreciate the reality of God, and God means bliss. That's the meaning. God means infinite bliss. We could appreciate it in every name and form of creation, if ignorance would be removed. This is the idea. So, the thing is, you see, for example, let's say, if there are no, right, if you remove all the cups, you remove all the rooms, you remove all the limitations, can you see space? If there are no limitations at all, can you see space? Can you see space? No. You see, when do you see space? You bring a cup. When you bring a cup, you see the space inside the cup. Is the space internal to the cup? Is it limited to the cup? No. But through the cup, there is an appearance of space being limited by which you behold space. You understand? The space that you behold is not the true nature of space, because space is limitless. But the limitation of the cup allows you to behold space by which you can move towards realizing its true nature, which is limitless. You understand? The limited space which the cup reveals is not the real space, but the revelation of space will allow you to penetrate the real space. You understand? Now, Swami Sivananda says, in your weaknesses lies your greatest strength. What does it mean? It's the same thing. So, you see, where is fear pointing you towards? Huh? Not there. I mean, fear is very unpleasant. But where is fear pointing you towards? Can you just say, okay, I'm going to stay with this fear forever? So fear causes what? Fear is a weakness. It's a limitation, right? It's a sense of a limited self, right? But where is it pointing you towards? Where is it moving you? Where is it pushing you? See, fear, because fear is a very unpleasant state, it pushes you to overcome it. Therefore, fear points you towards fearlessness. Okay? Hatred pushes you towards love. Right? Swami Sivananda says, don't hate the selfish, the jealous, and the evildoers. He says, it is they who promote your spiritual progress. They are your saint makers. Don't hate them. They are serving you very nicely. You see? Why? They are triggering all your limitations. And they will force you to overcome them. You understand? So this world is a world of limitations, but in the limitations, the limitless is revealed. That's the meaning. So therefore, Swami Brahmananda says, this world is a world to develop divine virtues. You see, all the complexities and challenges of this world, all the problematic emotions are pushing you to realize your limitless nature. You will not be able to stay where you are because the pain will push you forward. Therefore, Swami Brahmananda says, in your limitations lies your greatest strength. See, so everything in this world comes from God and serves God. This is the idea. Therefore, Swami Brahmananda says even, evil exists to glorify the good. It's an illusory appearance. Everything in this world comes from one master. This is the idea. And serves only that master. This is the idea. So this whole world is the show of the one. This is the point. Okay, so this is what Swami Brahmananda is saying. He says, where is God? Everywhere. But everywhere we need to understand. We need wisdom and we need devotion to be able to recognize that one. Otherwise, this place will become like a jail for us. You see? We will be just bound by our experiences. So the point is that wisdom and devotion allow us to move towards the experiences of the world become catalysts of freedom. This is the idea. Okay? Then he says, every breath that flows in the nose, every beat that throbs in the heart, every artery that pulsates in the body, every thought that arises in the mind speaks to you that God is near. All life is God. This is the meaning. The very fact that thoughts are in your mind, this is God. The very fact that you are breathing. Who makes you breathe? Swami Brahmananda says, notice it. See the breath. This is God. This is the idea. Right? Then he says, everything is God. Good is God. Misfortune is God. Greet Him in everything and rest peacefully in bliss. So Swami Brahmananda says, this world is a world of pairs of opposites because it is the outcome of our own karma. You see, in this world, we are going through the experiences of our own actions. They will definitely come as the pairs of opposites, which are unavoidable. And the only way that we are going to be peaceful in this world is by either surrendering, which means what Swami Brahmananda just said, greet God in everything, good and misfortune, the pleasant and the unpleasant, the success and the failure, greet God in everything. Or knowledge. Knowledge means you know yourself, you know the self as the all-pervading, untouched reality. Names and forms can never touch it, like the movie and the screen. So either by surrendering or by knowledge, one can be free in this world. But as long as we identify with the limitations of the world, then there will be no freedom from suffering. This is what is called samsara. Samsara is simply a world of limitations, that's all it is. Limitations caused by ignorance. And, based on ignorance, attachments and aversions. Then he says, feel the divine presence everywhere, in every form. So feel means devotion. Devotion is crucial. Without devotion, the intellect becomes a hazard for spiritual progress. With devotion, the intellect becomes the most powerful tool for spiritual progress. So this is the idea. Without devotion, the intellect will cut the branch on which one is sitting. This is the idea. So with devotion, the intellect becomes very powerful. Okay, so therefore he says, feel the divine presence everywhere, in every form, in every thought, in every feeling, and in every sentiment, in every movement, in every emotion. So Swami Brahmananda says, feel that presence of God everywhere. Learn to see God in every thought, every emotion, every form, every event that happens in your life. Learn to behold God. Only then you are free. Why? God is of the nature of bliss. God is the self. God is the limitless. You see, this is the idea. So if we learn to recognize the limitless reality in every limiting experience, all limitations are negated. We are free. This is the idea. So therefore, this is what the yogis say. This is the meaning of taking refuge in God or in the self, meaning surrendering or knowledge. This is the idea. So we'll conclude. Okay, so the question is, I can understand that God is everywhere, but why service? So the idea is that Swami Shivananda is teaching that service of humanity is worship of God. See, God is of the nature of infinite bliss or beauty. Wherever we are able to recognize God, we recognize beauty, joy, wisdom, mystery. That's the meaning. It's the nature of things. But we are unable to recognize it only because of our emotional attachments. Then, think about someone that you love. When you love someone, what happens? Your heart goes to them. You want to serve them. You want to do good. Naturally, right? There is no love without service. They always go together, right? You cannot say that you love someone and you don't do anything for them. Cannot be, right? So we know that love comes as a dynamic force of service, right? Swami Brahmananda says, service is love in action. So the more we are able to recognize that divinity, naturally it will come as the desire to do good, to serve. The yogis go to the extent to say that our spiritual evolution is measured by our capacity to serve humanity. So what you see in the lives of great saints, you see great capacity to help humanity. You see, helping humanity is extremely difficult. Why? It's very difficult to help yourself, right? Look at how good we are in helping ourselves. It's very difficult to help yourself, really, to do good to yourself, because you need lots of wisdom, right? So it's very difficult to really help others. See, how successful are you in uplifting the lives of others? Extremely difficult. What about helping humanity? So it doesn't come just like this. These people have tremendous, tremendous capacity to do good because they are living in the reality of what we call God. Okay? So, you know, a Swami Sivananda, a Gandhi, a Mother Teresa, a Swami Vishnu, these are not by chance. It's not by chance that suddenly they uplift millions of people in the world. They operate in that reality which we call God. That's all. For them, it's a living reality. The more it's a living reality for us, the more we will have capacity, wisdom, and desire to do good. This is the idea. Otherwise, our doing good will be like, you know, catching the old lady at the other side of the street and not asking her whether she needs to cross over, just pulling her by the end and leaving her on the other side. You understand? So doing good needs tremendous wisdom. Otherwise, you know, it's like many times I'm asking Parvati whether she wants people to help in the garden. She says, people that don't know about gardens, I don't want their help. With very good intentions, they will mess up my garden. It's the same thing. Doing good demands tremendous wisdom. Experience shows this to us. If we try to do good without wisdom, we will create problems for people. Guaranteed. It needs tremendous wisdom, and that wisdom has to do with our understanding, practically, not intellectually, devotionally, of what is called God. The more we understand it, the more our capacity to do good will be an actuality. This is the meaning. So love and service always go together. God and service always go together. Yeah, load, definitely. Every word can be loaded. Yeah. But what service means, the capacity to do good, to uplift people. That's the meaning. Om, 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 Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om, peace, peace, peace. Om Bolo Sadguru Sivananda Maharaj Ki Jai. Swami Vishnu Devananda Maharaj Ki Jai.